quadratic equations which has a power 2 in it. No surprises there. And the first lesson is there's not a lot to do in the first lesson, so we'll probably start the second lesson a little bit sooner today. The first lesson is all about factorizing, so we're looking at factorizing quadratics. Okay, so firstly, what is a quadratic? So a quadratic is anything of this form. This is a quadratic expression, and the only thing we ask is that a is not 0, because if it was 0, what would it be? It'd be just linear, not quadratic then. So the only thing we ask is that a is not 0. Okay, so how do we get quadratics? Well, I'll scroll down. So we get quadratics when we multiply two linears together. So for example, if I have something like x plus 1 and x plus 2, this we all know, or if you don't, that's okay, makes a quadratic. Let's just remind ourselves how to multiply here. So there's 4 multiplications. First you do x multiply x, which makes x squared, and then you do x multiply 2, which of course is 2x, and then 1 multiply x, or 1x, and lastly 1 multiply 2, which is 2. Okay, so the only thing that we can add together are the middle two here, which is a 3. So we're left with x squared plus 3x plus 2. So a little bit of English now. What is the verb that describes going from here to here? What's the verb that describes this? Oh, multiply, so boring. Give me something more exciting. What is it? Expanded. Yeah. Okay, so now the verb for going the opposite way. Here, back to this. What's that verb? Huh? Factorize, the name of the lesson, yes. So this is factorize. So this is the verb. So you can probably guess the noun. What are these two called? What's this called and what's this called? Factors, yeah. And if you want to be more precise, you can actually say linear factors, if you want to be more accurate. Okay, so please write down all this vocabulary. Okay. You have this? Yeah? Yeah? Okay. So, let's scroll down now. So, what we want to learn this morning is how can we factorize. There's different ways to factorize. I'll just show you the way that I do it. But some people learn different ways in middle school and high school. So, if you have a way that works for you, that's fine. I'll just show you one way to do it. So, our first example, we'll look at quadratics like this, where the number here, a, is actually like a 1. So, another vocabulary check here. I wonder if anyone knows the adjective here that describes this quadratic when it starts with a 1. I wonder if anyone knows that. Think about any words or prefixes that mean 1. Come on, somebody must be willing to take a guess. Huh? You are actually quite close, but not quite that. Is the best answer so far. Anyone else? You had the right idea. So, you probably know this, but, or maybe not. This prefix mono means 1. So, we call this a monic quadratic. Okay. Monic, yeah.
What is monic?
Yeah, what is monic? Mono is a prefix, a bit like bi or tri, triangle, bicycle. This means 3, this means 2, and this means 1. So as an adjective, it's monic. So I guess you could say the same thing as well for linear. Monic linear would be like this: 1x plus a number. I never hear that though, it's always used for just quadratic. Or for the next one. Actually, what's the one after quadratic? Cubic, yeah. So after quadratic, cubic. Linear, quadratic, cubic then. Anyways, let's have a look at our first example. Do you have these words? Yeah? Okay. Right, so, factorize this. So this is the easiest example because it's monic and it's positive. So this is the easiest example that we can have to give us the idea. So we know the answer will be like this. There'll be an x here and an x here, and plus some number. You see it already, yeah? And plus some number here. 6 and 5, yeah. You're looking for two numbers that multiply to make 30 and add to make 11. So 5 and 6, they multiply to make 30 and they add to make 11. If you like, you can check the answer. You don't need to do this in the exam, but we'll just check our first example together. So just a quick check. X by x is x squared, x by 6 is 6x, 5 by x is 5x, 5 by 6 is 30. English. Okay, so let's look at a little bit harder example now. Okay, next example. So we'll just make this one a tiny bit harder. We'll put in minuses now. So you just need to think a little bit here. You need two numbers that multiply to make a minus number. So there's only one possibility, a plus and a minus. Yeah.
5.
Yeah. Wait, relax, calm down. So just before we get to the answer, I just also want to say, when they add together, they make a minus. So that means, which one is bigger? The minus one must be bigger, because if they're adding together to make a minus, that must be the bigger one. Okay. Alright, now let's look at the numbers. So we want two numbers that multiply to make minus 35 and add to make minus 2. So what's our possibility? Suppose we have a 5 and a 7. Yes. And that's the answer there. Okay, another example. Let's start making it harder. So now this time it's not monic. 15x squared plus 38x plus 24. Okay, so a little bit different now because you have this number here. So it's still the same step. We'll put down the two factors, x here and x here. But the difference now is because you have this number, it means there must be a number here and here that multiply to make 15. And then we must also have a number here, of course, and here. And at least we know everything's a plus. So that's something. And just like before, these must multiply to make 24. The difference now is the adding part to make 38. These multiply, and these ones must add to make 38 then. So you might have to try a couple of different possibilities here. 15, what two numbers multiply to make 15?
3 and 5.
Okay, so we'll start off with try 3 and a 5. And then to make 24, you have a couple of things you could try. A 1 and a 2 and a 12. 4 and a 6. Yeah, what else? Anything else?
3, 8.
3 and 8 then. So this is a little bit hard, but what two numbers you pick, you needed to multiply a 5, multiply a 3, and to make 38. So something like, let's say, 1 and 24. I know that's definitely wrong, because if I put a 24 here, or if I put a 24 here, way too big. It's kind of the same with 12, because if I put a 12 here, it's too big, and if I put a 12 here, it's too big. So we know straight away, no good. It has to be one of these two, a 4 and a 6, or maybe a 3 and an 8. So let's check with the 4 and the 6 first. If I put a 4 here, I get 20, and if a 6 here, 18. Oh, okay. By accident, my first guess was right, but this will not always happen in real life. So 4 here and 6 here. So 4 times 5 is 20, 3 times 6 is 18, and they do add to make 38. So we're good here then. Okay, so it's again harder. One more example to show you the hardest one now. Okay, can I scroll down? Yeah. Okay, 12x squared minus 11x minus 15. Right, something x plus something x minus another number here. And which one is the bigger one here? Minus, because they must add to make a minus. So this one here must multiply to make the bigger number. This one here must multiply to make the smaller number. Okay, let's start. 12, couple of things. We could 12 and 1, 6 and 2, 3 and 4. So we have a few things to try. Let's try 3 and 4 first, but we might be wrong. So let's just try 3 and 4. So 3 and 4. Okay, so 15 we can have 3, 5 and 1, 15. Okay, so at least there's only two things to try here. If I put 15 here straight away, too big. 15 here again, too big. So it can't be this one. If I put, you think a 5 here? If I put a 5 here, I get, no, maybe, no, change the sign. Minus 5, okay, so, or in other words, change the 3 and the 4 around. Okay, so, if I put a 3 here, this will be a plus 9. And then if I put a 5 here, minus 20, which is the bigger number. 20 is bigger. Okay, so 3 and 3 is 9. 4 and minus 5 is minus 20, and they add together to make minus 11. So we're good then. Okay, so these are the hardest ones. Now, in the exam, there are other ways to do this, but I find this is a useful skill to have, because for simple problems, this is definitely the best way to do it. But for more harder problems like this, there's other ways to do it. But definitely for problems like the first one, if you've got something like this in the exam, this is very quick. You don't have to worry about the signs, they're all plus. It's monic, so it's a 1 here, so it's quick. But I can understand maybe if students want a different way to do it for these harder ones. Okay, so not much in the first lesson. We'll just practice these for a few minutes, and then we'll just go on to the second lesson, and then we'll take a little break. So you can practice some of them now. I think, let me tell you which ones to try. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. So in number 1 we can say BWX. Number 2. BWXY. Number 3. BCD. And 4. BCD. Okay. Try these for a few minutes then. This is breakfast? This is breakfast?
No, I have eaten pizza.
Pizza's breakfast, even better.
That's a snack.
Oh, I see, okay. After breakfast snack?
Yes.
Yes. Question? Oh, this? Yeah. Yeah.
Quadratic and cubic equations, cubic plus. Okay. The formula is good.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, 2 more minutes and then we'll go on to something new. I'm going to close this and open up a new one.